Seems like a perfect day to move to an island. Yeah. Seems like everyone is losing their minds these days.
And the big difficulty is this. I want to find a method whereby I can change my consciousness. But therefore to improve myself. But the self that needs to be improved is the one that is doing the improving.
Dear Diary, we traveled the high seas for 3 years before we finally found shore. We ended up on a small island somewhere in the South Pacific, an undisclosed location that I would prefer not to reveal. We hoped we could regain our sanity. Although there is decent weather a majority of the time, there are still enough storms to keep the pirates out. We've considered traveling back to the mainland for supplies, but I fear we will be revealed and our location will become known. The outside world still affects me. I still think about places that I've been, the things that I've seen. Although we're far distant from any mainland, trash still floats up on my shores. My coastline still polluted with plastics. The fisheries, just on the horizon, loot my food supply. The air pollution kills my crops. And for some reason on this island there are sirens because there's a strange siren bird. It's a very rare siren bird. You might want to consider this a rant, or you could consider it a ramble. Often I've thought in the past about curating my videos to YouTube about specific subjects, but I don't go very far as far as the point of editing, because I feel that subject matter is so much more important, and even though I would like to write out and plan out my videos ahead of time, it's very rare that I do that. I feel that I'm best engaged when I'm just talking to the camera, face to face, and I guess somewhat to all of you through a period of time. When I speak about living on an island, naturally there's a literal tendency to want to move out and escape out into the wilderness, buy a piece of land. Personally, I would not want to live on an actual island. I have my fears of the ocean and the wrath of the sea, but living in the Pacific Northwest, I wouldn't mind moving up to a little piece of land somewhere. But the intention was more to speak in a metaphoric sense. When I talk about an island, I was speaking about the escaping from society into our own realities, into our own minds, into our own families, for one. For example, for my family, when you have a family, I have 3 sons and a wife, and of course my mother, my brother, and my wife's family. But as far as my nuclear family, there's 5 of us that live here. 6 if you include Lucy. And we work through our problems. We have issues where we might disagree on something. Somebody might wake up grumpy and somebody's being a little bit, irritating at the wrong time, or maybe somebody's just had a bad day at the end of the day. It's not very often that we ever actually quarrel about anything. It's very rare. But it's because we work out our differences. More importantly, the point here is that it's us against the world, in a way. But at the same time, we care about our neighbors, and we care about our world. We try to help others. We live within a web of life. Absolutely nothing is immune to that. Perfect example, I guess, to define the point would be any number of documentaries or books or articles you can read about the ocean. In fact, there's a pretty good one on Netflix right now. I don't remember what it is, Ocean Conspiracy or something of the sort, but speaking about how bad we're really depleting our own oceans and how the destruction is laid on the people, telling us it's our straws and it's our plastic bags, when in fact well over half of the garbage in the ocean that's killing these animals is marine nets and fisheries, fishing equipment. And it's not something that's necessary. We don't have to live this way. But we do. Because we allow it to happen. And once we've destroyed part of the ocean, a component of the ocean, it all falls apart. Once the sharks are gone, the predators are gone, everything falls apart. We've seen this in the forests here in the Northwest. And deer populations just became ridiculous after wolves were eliminated. But it wasn't just that. It was the land that they tear up and the trails that they make in their migrations. It's a very delicate balance out there, and it's easy to want to escape from all the nonsense that we're faced with the humans, our fellow humans who just don't give a shit about one another or the planet that they live on. It's the wonder of symbiosis and connection between everything that fascinates me the most. We have something very unique here on this planet. Natural intelligence kind of speaks for itself. But a lot of folks choose to ignore that. An island, for example. An island itself is a living thing. An island is an entity. It's a ecosystem, enclosed, which is why I chose that for my metaphor. Because you can enclose yourself in your own bubble and escape from the rest of the world, but you still have to let some of it in. Everything matters and everyone matters on this planet. We've heard it before. But humankind, we have subcontracted out everything. We have sold out our environment. We've sold out each other. We've sold out the meaning of God as it may have meant to ancient people. People preaching things like the prosperity gospel, the plant a seed of faith, send your money out to the guy with the private jet, right? Kenneth Copeland or Tilton. These organizations that target the elderly for scams and for these evangelists that do the same thing. And the reason I mention evangelists is because they are the ones who claim to be those who are speaking for God. There's also corporate corruption, which just hang on the coattails of not just religion, but of virtue signaling. Companies like, do I even have to name one? I don't. Everyone's playing the game. Everyone's trying to be recognized for being, environmentally friendly. There are non-profit groups that are started to protect us against bad seafood, which are completely run by the very companies that they claim to be against. And nonprofits and charities which are completely opposed to actually handling the things that they claim that they're handling. There are so many fake fucking people out there that it just makes me sick. And while I try to be a stoic person, I try to remain calm, cool, and collected about the things that happen in the world, there's also realism. The fact that the same people that are preaching the gospel of giving to God, right? Like as I said, that don't even follow their own Bible passage. That it's easier for for a camel to walk through the eye of a needle than for a rich man to get into heaven. Does that mean being rich doesn't get you into heaven if that's what you believe? No. But it definitely doesn't mean that you're going to get into heaven faster if you have 3 Lear jets at your disposal, or if you are tax exempt, or if you start a religion like Scientology, like L. Ron Hubbard, who is a science fiction author, who was quoted as saying, the easiest way to make a lot of money would be to start your own religion, which he did, and he was successful, and he didn't just lobby to get it to be accepted as a religion. They actually had plants, people who were working within the government, and they were also threatening these IRS people that, threatening their lives or their families. I don't even recall. There are so many conniving, disgusting details that go on in society to convince people to do what we want them to do. And there are so many of them that it's hard for us as individuals to even know which ones to address. What should I even care about? Why should I try to save the whales when really the problem's over here or over here? Why should I, when I was a kid it was simple. Save the rainforest, save the whales, Then I heard the old George Carlin, save the bees, save the trees, save the whales, save the snails. And the famous quote, he said, the earth's not going anywhere, we are. And that always stuck with me. It's the truth. We're annihilating ourselves. We're annihilating a future for humanity. And yes, perhaps a lot of animals are going to go down with us. We've already rendered several species extinct on this planet. The fisheries in the last 120, 150 years have gone down well over 90%. Some of the fish are fished almost to extinction, like bluefin tuna. You can fetch, millions of dollars for one fish. It's ludicrous. And it's not just the Chinese or Japanese shark fin soup market or dolphins. It's everything. It's the fact that humans have saturated this planet. We have overwhelmed this planet to the point where we have to step back and say, can we handle this? Can we really do this? We're doing it. We are doing it. I don't know how much longer it's going to last, though. Therefore, it's easy to want to hop on a raft and go find your own island. It really is. So, hey man, I just finished watching your video on, I don't know, whatever it was about. Seems like it's hard to know what topic you're even talking about, but it just seems like a lot of the time you're just complaining about problems in your videos. Nah. Really just sharing my thoughts. Just as the way I see them and the way the world is according to myself. Well, it's no offense, man. I mean, I just don't understand it, and I'm trying to figure out, I guess, what you're really trying to achieve by making them. Actually, I'm really not sure. I guess it just feels good to talk sometimes. Sounds cheesy, but it's true. Well, I just, not to be a dick, but, I don't really think anybody gives a crap about your opinion. And I think it's pretty silly to think that they do. Well, maybe you're right, but somebody must care. I mean, I care. There's at least one person, right? 2 words come to mind. Pretentious and arrogant. I mean, don't hate me for saying that. How about this? You want to move to my island? Get away from all this crap? Actually, yes. I do. Let's do it. Alright. Let's roll. I think you're forgetting something. Gotta tell people about Patreon. Oh yeah. A lot of the topics I talk about are not ad friendly, and I really don't use ad revenue on many of my videos anyway, as most of you know. So I'd just like to say the only support I get from my channel is through Patreon. And I really appreciate all of my patrons I already have, but I would love to get more. I can spend more time on my videos, put more love into them if I feel like it was a job, and maybe one day down the road I could justify being a YouTuber, as cheesy as that sounds. Boy, that sounds horrible for a 45-year-old man. Maybe it is arrogant and pretentious. I don't know. Anyway, I'm heading to the island. You can come with if you choose. Peace out.
Oh, there we go.
Nice.
Purpose channels, 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 purpose channels.